Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. So, as I promised, this video is going to be about the steps of progression. And the last video I made, not the one with Samantha, but the video before that, the one that was like 3 hours long, I gave you guys the full story with health and fitness, right? The full story. If you haven't watched that video, please go ahead and watch it. There are timestamps on the video, so that way you can go on one section and come back to it later. All right. And this video, what we're going to go through is the steps of progression. So how, now that we know what health and fitness really means, how do we move forward with it? Okay. Before I get started with that, I want to kind of recap some things from that video. Few different points. Number one, what your goal really is. Your goal is not stronger, build muscle, leaner. It's not that. Okay. It's health. Okay. Health is the level of functionality of your body. Okay. So if you have some sort of disease, right, your body is functioning less effectively and less efficiently. Okay. So health is a level of functionality that's both effective and efficient. You're not going to be leaner unless your body is functioning effectively and efficiently enough to do so. You're not going to build muscle unless you're building your health. You're not going to get stronger unless you're building your health. So your real goal is health. And that should explain why us professionals, we call them health and fitness goals. We don't just call them goals. All right. Now I'm going to kind of talk about some things that trainers do not talk about. Right. Hopefully, if you haven't watched this video, it will cast some doubt. So that way if you have questions, you would ask me because I don't care about money and all that kind of no. I just want you guys to know the truth. Okay. And I'm not even making this video to try to sell you on following Revelation Nation. I'm not, I don't know. No. This is just about you guys knowing the truth. When it comes to Revelation Nation, if you saw the video with me and Samantha, you understand that health and fitness is not even the cornerstone of what Revelation Nation is about. Revelation Nation is a community of people where we go from being just alive to truly living our life by finding out, okay, what is meaningful to us? What's our vision for our life, right? Like for my friend Josh, he's going into aerospace science because he's always wanted to be a pilot. So we're moving forward toward that vision. My wife, she has a vision. My friend Christian, he has a vision. I have a vision for what I want my life to be. And what we do is we encourage each other to move forward toward that vision. So that way we are not just alive, but we are truly living our life. Okay. Health and fitness is just one of the pillars that has to be built in order to make sure that we live long enough to see our vision come true. If you don't have health, you're dead. So you're not going to see your vision come true. So you have to have health in order to live long enough to see your vision come true. And also, when your vision does come true, you want to live as long as you possibly can within that vision. All right. So when it comes to health and fitness, you have to understand what health and fitness really means. And that's what that last video was about, that 3 hour long video. That's what that was about. Now, some things that trainers will not talk about. Okay. First one, when it comes to a professional, you have to know a professional is someone who has a degree or a nationally accredited certification. That's it. If they don't have one of those two things, they are not considered a professional. So you have to make sure that you're making a prudent decision on who you're choosing to listen to. Okay. Next thing, when it comes to professionals, there are four different types. There are trainers, nutritionists, dietitians, and doctors. Now, you may say, what about the people who give massages and the chiropractors? Yeah, those are like tangents from these four main groups. Okay, but the four main ones: trainers, dietitians, nutritionists, and doctors. Now, the first trick that you guys fall for, like 99% of the time, that you guys fall for. Let me ask you, which professional looks the best? Is it the doctor, the nutritionist, the dietitian, or the trainer? We trainers, we're the ones who look the best. So that makes all you guys come to the trainers simply based on how they look. That's the first trick. You're going to people based on how they look, not based on what they know. You don't go to a doctor based on how he looks or how she looks. You go based on what they know. You see what I'm saying? If you need heart transplant surgery, you're not going to go to a pediatrician. You see what I'm saying? So you need to know if they are professional, and you also have to know if you have to know their set of skills. You have to know their expertise. Now, when it comes to trainers, we know training. That's our set of expertise. But you have to know what training actually means. All right, this is the second trick. Training is a test of performance. That's it. It has nothing to do with weight loss, fat loss, nothing. Training is a test of performance. That's it. If I'm a basketball trainer and you want to play basketball, you come to me. I put your body through drills so that way your body will be prepared to perform on the court. If you need a bowling trainer, same sort of thing. A skiing trainer, same sort of thing. People who train people at their jobs, same sort of thing. You're putting them through a test to make sure that they can perform the activities needed outside of the test. See what I'm saying? So that's what training is all about. So that would explain to you the third trick that happens. 80 to 90% of you guys who are in the general public, what goal do you want to have? Is it build muscle? Is it get leaner, which means like lose weight or lose fat? I think I said build muscle already. So build muscle, get stronger, or get leaner. Which goal is the majority for you guys? It's leaner, losing weight, but really you mean lose fat. You don't really mean lose weight. But anyway, that is the goal that you really want. Now, ask yourself this question. When it comes to training and nutrition, which one do you need, right? Which one is priority? Nutrition. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that nutrition is the priority. So let me ask you this. When you go to a trainer, why is it that the first thing they make you do is train? Doesn't make any sense, right? You know that deep down you have to change your nutrition, but the first thing that they do is make you train. It doesn't add up. And now you know why. Because trainers, we are experts in training. Do you see nutritionists or dietitians making a workout plan? No, they don't do that, right? So you have to know if someone is a true professional, and you have to know their set of skills so that way you can make a prudent decision on who you go to. All right. So when you go, if you go to a trainer, we're going to make you train. All right. So then the next thing is you may say, trainer, I need to work on my nutrition. What do I have to do? What is a trainer going to tell you? You got to work on your calories. Calories in, calories out. You got to make caloric deficit. That's what it's all about. So what you guys end up thinking is that nutrition equals calories, and that's not true either. That's not true. First of all, nutrition has two sides, quantity and quality. That's the first thing. And then when it comes to calories, calories have several different definitions. Calories do not just mean energy, right? It has several different definitions. And when the context of the sentence changes, the definition of calories change. All right. So very, very important to understand that nutrition does not just mean calories. Okay. Now, why are you only hearing calories? Because when it comes to us trainers, when it comes to nutrition, we are only legally allowed to tell you calories. We are not legally allowed to tell you what to eat. We cannot tell you to eat strawberries. We cannot tell you to eat bananas. We cannot tell you those things. We kind of end up doing borderline illegal activity when we give you a meal plan. We kind of get away with it by saying this is what your day may want to look like. So that way you still have the choice to do it or not. That's how trainers can kind of get away with that, but it's still kind of borderline illegal. All right. So it's very, very important that you guys understand that we are not legally allowed to tell you guys what to eat. Now, some of you guys may be surprised by that and be like, why is that? Why can't you tell me what to eat? Because if you have a strawberry, if I tell you eat a strawberry, and then you eat a strawberry, and then you have an allergic reaction to that strawberry, you can sue me. That's why I said legally we are not allowed to. It protects us legally. So legally we are only allowed to tell you calories. So that way we are protected from telling you specific foods to eat. You see what I'm saying? So that should be an eye opener. Okay, if a trainer can only tell me calories, that means there's something that he cannot or she cannot tell me. So there has to be more to the story. And that's why I tell you that nutrition is both quantity and quality. Quality is the section that we cannot really talk about. But when it comes to quality, I can give you my philosophy. If you want to have the body you were always designed to have to have the foods you were always designed to eat, the foods the earth provided, fruits, vegetables, and clean sources of protein. Okay. And if you look at every single nutrition program out there, it's the same freaking food. It's the same food. Every single nutrition program out there, every single meal plan out there, every single one is packed with fruits, vegetables, and clean sources of protein. Why? Because we professionals, we know that you have to have quality. We know that. But you know, you look at intermittent fasting and keto and all these different diets or whatever out there, you're not going to get fooled by that kind of stuff anymore because you know it's the same foods. So instead of us trying to say, okay, this is a new program, no. How about we just tell you fruits, vegetables, and clean sources of protein, and you just have the ones that are realistic for you to have? How about that? Keep it simple because that's what we're doing anyway. All right, so that's that with nutrition. And then my last thing, in terms of, sorry, this thing just popped up on my screen. Then the last thing, when it comes to something that trainers will not tell you, 80 to 90% of our clientele, they want to lose weight, and what they really mean is lose fat, right? But we are only allowed to tell them calories. So what do you guys hear the most? Caloric deficit, caloric deficit, caloric deficit, caloric deficit. So what do trainers try to say to you guys to make you feel like you're in a caloric deficit? Oh, you got to work out so that way you burn more calories. So that way you're burning more than what you're eating, right? But here's the thing, and all you trainers know it. Our body burns, and you don't even know why. Most people watching, you don't know why we even say burn calories. You're like, why is that a term? But anyway, you don't realize that our body burns calories by itself. You trainers, you guys know our body burns calories 24/7. Our body's utilizing energy 24/7. Because you guys know the term base metabolic rate. And for you guys who don't know, the base metabolic rate is the minimum amount of calories that your body needs in order to stay alive. Now, that may sound different than what definition you guys have been told for years, which is it's the minimum amount of calories that your body burns at rest. That's not the full definition. That's not the full definition. What I do here, I'm trying to tell you guys what these definitions fully mean, so that way you can make a prudent decision moving forward. Base metabolic rate is the minimum amount of calories that your body needs in order to stay alive. Now remember, calories, that word has several different definitions. So if you don't know what definition to use, right, then please ask me and I will tell you what it is. I don't want to go over that right now because we'd be making this video all day and I want to go into the steps of progression. But anyway, that last part, to keep you alive, that is the most important part of that definition, the most important part. It is also a part of the definition of metabolism. Metabolism being the sum of every single process that your body has to go through in order to keep you alive. That last part is the most important section. Now, if you don't know why that is, if you don't know why, please ask me. We can go over it, okay? We can go over it. I want to tell you guys what this stuff really means. What this stuff really means, all right? So back to what a trainer will not tell you. If it is true that all you have to do is be in a caloric deficit, if it is true, and your body burns calories by itself, trainers, you know BMR and you know TDEE, you know those two terms. So I'm speaking to the trainers too. If it's true that all you have to do is be in a caloric deficit, then how come we don't just give them the number? You have to eat, Carol, you have to have 2,000 calories. If you eat 2,000 calories a day, boom, you will be in a caloric deficit and you will lose weight or you will lose fat. Why can't we just do that? Trainers, you know that we find out the amount of calories that someone needs to have based off of a simple calculation. How come we don't just tell our clients what the calculation is and they can find out these numbers on their own? Why don't we do that? You know why? Because if we told them the full truth, some of you guys who took advantage of this pool of clients, 80 to 90% of the world at least in the United States, right? 80 to 90% of these people who want to join or wants to improve their health and fitness, their goal is to get leaner. So the way that we tap into that market, we had to give them a reason to trust the trainers to achieve that goal. So we came up with a caloric deficit. But when it comes to that, why can't we just tell them the number? If we just told them the number, clients would see, you guys would see, you don't have to train at all. You don't have to train at all. So now trainers, we would lose 80 to 90% of our clientele. But I'm here to say that shouldn't matter to you. What should matter to you is getting a client who actually wants to train. Those are the best clients. The client who actually wants to train, who wants to get their body prepared to do something or prepared to perform an activity. Those are the best clients. Those are the best ones for a trainer. If someone who wanted to train went to a dietitian, they wouldn't have fun because they're not doing what they really want to do. And someone who simply wants to improve their nutrition, simply that, if they go to a trainer, they're doing training and training and training, probably things that they don't really want to do. So it's important for us trainers to know, because we know the truth. We do know the truth. And it's time to give that to everybody else. Okay. So that's like a recap of the health tree diagram. A small little recap because that video was like 3 hours long. If you have any questions or anything, go ahead and watch that video. But if you don't want to watch that full video and you want to just have like a 15, 20-minute conversation with me instead, let me know. Let me know. All right. Next, I'm going to go over the progress that I've had since following the steps of progression. I just did some body measurements today, or at least one body measurement today, and I was shocked. I was shocked. So I want to share that with you, and then we're going to go right into the steps of progression, so that way you guys can see how to move forward in your health. Now that you know what health and fitness really means, if you watch that video, if you know what health and fitness means, now it's time to know, okay, how do I move forward with my health and fitness? Let's go into it. Share my screen. And hopefully by now, you guys can see my screen. All right. So in the past month, I really haven't stepped on the scale at all, really. Yeah, in the past month, I haven't stepped on the scale. But you guys who know what health and fitness really means, you know that weight does not matter because you know what that word really means. You guys who do not know what the word weight really means, please let me know. Ask me, and I will tell you what weight actually means, because there are people out there who will take advantage of you not knowing what that word means. I used to work for someone who did exactly that. Who did exactly that. All right. So if you don't know what that word really means, or let me say this, if you think weight means fat, please talk to me. Please, 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 please. Because there are people out there who will take advantage of you thinking that. All right. So let's go to body measurements. Down here. And I just did waist. Whoa. Let me pause the video for a second because it doesn't even say that my profile is up. So let me pause this and fix this. There we go. Yeah, for some reason it brought up just a blank profile. As you can see over here, like now Cornelius Washington, like this is my profile, but before it had no name there. I don't know how it just brought up a blank profile. All right, but still, I haven't logged my weight in a while, so that's why there's still no stats here. But let's go to body measurements. The only one I took today was my waist. So we're gonna do this. Now this is only in the past month. Okay, so this is only in the past month. But I started the steps of progression about 3 months ago, May 17th. Yeah, May 17th. And as you can see, downward trend. Downward trend. Now, this morning I was surprised. I was shocked. Not because, I was surprised that I would keep moving forward, not because of that, but because I haven't seen the number 48 on my waist in probably over a year. Okay, like it's been a long time. It's been a long time. And I was just like, I was shocked and I was happy and I was just like, in like euphoria, like, oh my gosh, like I'm actually seeing the number 48. And it was great. I mean, it was, I can't describe it. I can't describe it. But this is what happens when you know what health and fitness really means, and you start to make prudent decisions based off of what is realistic to you. People who are following and building their health, with Revelation Nation, they're building their health. They know what these terms really mean, and they're not following a program. It's not that. They're building their own realistic lifestyle, and they're making choices based off of what's realistic to them, based off of what they know is absolutely true. Once you understand what these terms really mean, once you really understand what these terms really mean, okay, not based off of what you probably have heard all your life. Because I swear to you, if you talk to me for like 30 minutes, I'm going to show you and flip every single fitness belief up upon itself. Because I'm gonna tell you what this stuff really means. And you're gonna see why so many people are unsuccessful, even though they are doing all the right things. They're doing all the right things, just like I was doing all the right things. I was training every single day. I was logging my nutrition every single day. I was in a caloric deficit. I was eating healthy. I was doing every single thing right for years. And I got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And I know I'm not alone in that. I know I'm not. I know I'm not, because of those of you who have joined Revelation Nation to improve your health. And I know I'm not alone, and people who are not a part of Revelation Nation. I know there are people out there who have done every single thing right, who have done this thing and then this thing and then this and then this, and nothing seems to work. I know how it feels. I've been there. So that's why I took the time to understand, what do these terms really mean? Because it's something that we're not being told. So I swear to you, you talk to me for 30 minutes and I will let you know what this stuff really means. All right. So this is the result that happens when you understand what the terms really mean, and you start to make choices that are realistic for you based on what is true. So now we're going to go into the steps of progression. All right. Boom. Right here. So let me move this out the way. Let's zoom in a little bit. All right, so right here, steps of progression. We have 4 different categories. You have the nutrients, hydration, sleep, and then posture. All right. Now, those of you who know the health tree diagram, these 4 categories should sound familiar, because on one side we have recovery, and on the other side we have stress. So when it comes to the steps of progression, this is what it's like. Imagine a house. You have the roof being like your overall goal, like the result that you want, right? And then you have the actual house part. The actual house part is like your nutrition regime, your training regime, any sort of like specific regime that you want to follow. Okay. So like how many days a week you're going to train, how many X amount of protein and all that kind of stuff. That's a specific regime. You're not going to have any success with a specific regime if you do not have the foundation. The house needs to have a foundation. So the steps of progression is the foundation, and it helps to prepare you guys if you decide to follow a specific regime. These are all the things that have to be in order before you follow a specific regime. And those of you who are having success with whatever regime that you're doing, when you look at this, you're going to see elements of this within your regime. You're going to know that, oh yeah, I'm actually doing that already. I'm doing this too. You're going to see that you are having the elements of the foundation already. But for some of you guys, you're not having success with any sort of specific regime that you're following. And it's because you're not ready for that, because you don't have the foundation. So we have to take the time to build the foundation. And you're not going to build a strong foundation if you don't have education. That's why it's crucial that you understand what the terms really mean. Because I can show you guys this, but if you have not looked at the health tree diagram, or if you have not talked to me and asked me questions and all, if you haven't done that, You can go through this. You can go through this and make a choice that's not advantageous for you, because you're going to make a choice based off of the simplified version of health and fitness, the simplified version that all you guys have been spoon-fed for years, that we all have been spoon-fed for years. You're going to fall into that simplified version, and that's where things get confusing, and that's where definitions are not being fully told, and that's where people are making decisions that are not advantageous toward their lifestyle. Okay, so let's go to level 1. The first thing you're going to see is that I say first principles, first principles, first principle, first principle. What do I mean by that? I actually learned this from Elon Musk. First principle basically is like, where is the true starting point? When you break something down into its core components, and so you get like to the atom, right? And then what you do is you reason up from there. So you break something down to its core component, and then once you have that tiny little bit, now you know where to start. And once you know where to start, you reason up from there, right? So a great example of the opposite would be like someone saying, okay, before there were electric cars, someone would say, it's preposterous that we're going to have an electric car because it hasn't been done. That's kind of like the opposite of knowing first principles. But if you understood first principles from a physics standpoint, all you have to do is understand the components of electricity, the components of power, the components of all the kind of stuff, and then get down to the atom of it all. And then you reason up from there. All right. And once you do that, everything makes sense. Now, the reason why people don't do that is because it's harder to think that way. Right? It is harder to think that way. But once you do, you'll know where you really have to start. And that's what we're doing here. What is the first principle about nutrition? Where do you really have to start for nutrition? Where do you really have to start for hydration? Where do you really have to start for sleep? And where do you really have to start for posture? All right. So let's go with nutrition first. What is the foundation of nutrition that we're trying to build? When it comes to nutrition, you guys know that your foundation for nutrition has to be lean and green. Has to be. You got to have the quality. When you follow a specific nutrition regime, they're going to tell you you have to have X amount of proteins, carbs, and fats, right? But you can have pizza and have carbs and fats, right? You can have fried chicken and have some protein and fat. Right? So you know that when it comes to following a specific nutrition regimen, you want to be prepared for it. You want to have your nutrition foundation being lean and green. So now when it comes to have X amount of proteins, carbs, and fats, you're going to have enough lean and green protein and enough lean and green carbs and enough lean and green fats, because that's what quantity is. It answers the question of how much. We want to make sure that we're giving our body the quality, right? So that way, when it comes time to follow a specific regime, boom, the only question that we have to answer is, how much do we have to have? All right. So the first principle, am I having 7 servings of vegetables or fruit? Am I having 7 servings of vegetables or fruit? It's very, very basic. And when I say a serving, I mean like the palm of your hand, tiny, right? We're not trying to have this, we're not trying to have like, it's not like a program or something like that. It's just like, are you having what your body wants to have? Now you may say, okay, well, Cornelius, what types of vegetables? I'm a trainer. I can't tell you specifically what foods to eat, right? But even if I was a registered dietitian, it wouldn't matter if I told you what foods specifically to eat. You know why? Because if I told you to eat broccoli and you hated broccoli, then you're not going to eat broccoli. And guess what? You don't need broccoli to get the nutrients that broccoli has. There are other vegetables that you probably like, that you do like, that have those nutrients. So when it comes to your vegetables or when it comes to fruit, have the ones that you like to have. You choose what you like. Like for me, I love spinach, not cooked spinach. I hate cooked spinach, but just like the spinach leaves. So the way that I get my vegetables, I literally grab some spinach leaves, put it in the blender, pour some water in it, and blend it up and drink it. I know that sounds gross. It sounds very, very gross. Everybody who's ever seen me do it, they're like, oh, that just looks disgusting. It looks like you're drinking grass. But I like it. I love the way it makes me feel, right? I don't taste anything, just tastes like water, right? It's great for me. But my Aunt Pam, she gets her vegetables a different type of way. Samantha, she has this huge salad. She had like this huge salad that she eats, right? And that's how she gets her vegetables. She has the ones, they both have the ones that they like to have, right? And that's what's important. That's what's important. Now, I say vegetables or fruit because when it comes to, let's say you end up following a specific nutrition regime, let's just say you have to have X amount of carbs. Vegetables would be a lean and green carbohydrate, right? Fruits are also a lean and green carbohydrate. So we pretty much knock out lean and green carbs when we say, okay, 7 servings of fruits or vegetables. Now, I recommend vegetables. I think they're better. And some people have issues with fruits anyway. So I recommend vegetables. But when it comes to your 7 servings, do not think that you have to have 7 servings right off the gate. No, 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 no. You don't have to have 7 servings like right now. If you start this today, don't think, okay, I'm going to have 7 servings right now. No. Start with what is realistic to you. Maybe only 1. And then once you become consistent with that, then hold yourself accountable to 2, right? That's why it's so important to pick the foods that you actually like. Because then it's going to be easy for you to eat them because you enjoy them. That's why me, Samantha, my Aunt Pam, we're all having fun. We're enjoying our nutrition and we're seeing great results. We're seeing great results because we're improving our health. And we're improving our health because we understand what these terms really mean. And when we understand what the terms really mean, we can make choices that are beneficial to our lifestyle. All right. So that's the first principle for nutrition. Then when it comes to hydration, simple. Where do you have to start? Are you even drinking water when you're thirsty? There's no point in you following a hydration regime if you're not even drinking water when you're thirsty. Right? If when you're thirsty, you go to lemonade or soda or what you go to that, then you're not going to be prepared when someone says, okay, you have to drink X amount of ounces of water. You don't even drink water when you're thirsty. You see what I'm saying? So that's why we have to start here when it comes to water. Just start drinking water when you're thirsty. It doesn't have to be this big old glass, but you're just getting accustomed with, you know what? I'm a little thirsty. Let me give my body what it needs, some water. That's it, right? And then the first principle for sleep. Are you sleeping when you're exhausted? Some of you guys, and me included, I've been like this. You go to bed and you're tired, but you just decide just to stay up. Like when you're sleepy, go to sleep. When your body is telling you, hey, I need to get some sleep, go to sleep. All right. And then the first principle for posture. Now, some of you may be asking, okay, shouldn't this be the first principle for training? Why is it the first principle for posture? Because when it comes to training, you know what training really means. Training is a test of performance, right? When it comes to performance, it comes down to posture versus gravity. Why is that? Because posture is the alignment of your skeletal frame. Your skeletal frame, like your joints and stuff like that. Your skeletal frame is only going to be aligned properly if the muscles pull the bones how they have to pull them in order to keep them aligned. So like right now, muscles are pulling them out of a line. So then if I lift up, there are certain muscles that are literally attached. Muscles are attached to bones, okay? So muscles are pulling your bones in certain directions. If I do this movement, elbow flexion, elbow extension, right? This muscle, the bicep, is pulling these 2 bones closer to this angle, right? And then this muscle will be pulling the bones like that, right? So basically, muscles attach to bones and they move the bones in certain directions. When it comes to posture, you have static posture and you have movement posture. This is like movement posture, right? If I do this, this is movement posture. I need to make sure that my joints stay aligned throughout a movement. Why? Because gravity is always trying to break your posture. Gravity's coming down on me right now. If gravity wins, I may end up hunching and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's very, very important that I make sure that I have good posture. So before you start training, and you trainers, you know, someone who has good posture, it's way easier to train them because you don't have to fix stuff. All right. So before you start training, you want to make sure that you have good posture. That's the first thing. So that's why posture is a part of the steps of progression, not training. All right. So when it comes to posture, do you have a true professional that can educate you on proper posture? You need to have someone who actually knows what they're talking about. All right. Whether it be me or somebody, I don't care, but just make sure it's a professional. So that way you can ask them questions on how to make sure that you have proper posture. All right. If you have any questions on posture, you have someone that you can go to. That's your first principle. Because if you rely on yourself, you're probably going to do something that is disadvantageous. Because honestly, let's be honest. I said honestly, and then I said let's be honest. You yourself are not a professional. If you do not have a degree or you do not have a nationally accredited certification, you are not a professional. And that's fine. Becoming a health and fitness professional is not what's meaningful to every single person. That's not everyone's vision. You have your own vision, right? But when it comes to your vision, we got to make sure that we have health so that way we can live long enough to see our vision come true. And also, if and when sorry, I just had a brain fog. When our vision comes through flourishing, we want to make sure we live long enough to, or live long. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. My brain is going crazy because I was thinking about so many things at one time. Let me rephrase. When it comes to your vision, you have to have health in order to live long enough to see it come true. Okay. And then when it comes true, you want to live that vision as long as you possibly can. That's what health is for. And that's why health is so important. Okay. Sorry I had that huge brain fart. Sorry. But I was thinking about so many things at one time and then I got confused. But anyway, that's the first principle for training. All right. So, level 2, before I go through each component, you do not want to go to level 2 until everything in level 1 is done. So, everything in level 1 is solidified, that everything in level 1 is a part of your lifestyle. It's just how you live. All right. So, level 2 for nutrition, 7 servings of clean sources of protein. Now, this is going to be difficult. Protein is like the hardest thing to get. But remember, we're just talking about like literally just fitting in the palm of your hand. That's it. So it's tiny. Like literally, some of you guys have like a chicken breast for dinner, right? You may be having like 4 servings right there. You know what I mean? So understand you don't have to have like these huge things of chicken or huge things of steak or whatever. You don't have to have these huge things of protein. You don't have to have it. And also you can have when I talk about clean sources of protein, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about animal meat. If you do eat animal meat, or if you don't, like if you're vegan or vegetarian, you have your protein powders, your protein bars, stuff like that, right? So that's what I mean by clean sources of protein. All right. So understand that just fits in the palm of your hand. So don't think, oh, I have to have like this big thing. No, just that's a serving. Okay. Also, once again, you don't have to have 7 servings right now. When you're done level 1, when that's become a part of how you live, don't think I can't get to level 2 until I'm ready to have 7 servings of clean sources of protein right now. No, that's the bullseye. That is the bullseye on the dartboard. We are not trying to hit the bullseye on the dartboard right out the gate. No. Don't even worry about you hitting the dartboard. Just throw the dart. Just throw the dart and see how close you can get. And just keep on making decisions based off of what is realistic for you. All right. Level 2 for hydration. Am I drinking water with every meal? That's very important. Why? Because when you're eating food, you're consuming nutrients. And water is like the river that transports the nutrients. So we want to make sure that we're having water with every single meal. And as you can see, you're slowly but surely having a little bit more and more water, right? So you're going to eventually get to the point where when someone tells you that you have to have X amount of water, it's going to be easy because you already drink water. It's a part of your hydration foundation. When it comes to sleep, am I ensuring nothing hinders my sleep? Cell phone. Laying down in bed and be like, oh, let me do this, let me do this. Yeah, I've done that plenty of times. So just making sure that nothing is hindering your sleep. All right. And then level 2 for posture is, do I have proper static posture? As you can see, you're not going to know if you have proper static posture if you don't have a professional who can tell you what that is. Okay. And then level 3 for nutrition, am I having more lean and greens than non-lean and greens? All right. Now, the way that you would measure that is based on how you want to measure it. Okay. However, you want to measure that. But it's important that we make sure that before we think we're ready for a nutrition regime, that we know that lean and greens are 100% our foundation for nutrition. We don't want to follow a nutrition regime and it's like non-lean and greens are still kind of more like the foundation of our nutrition. No, because you're not going to have success. You're not going to have the quality for nutrition, and all you're going to be doing is have quantity of non-quality. You see what I'm saying? So it's not going to work for you. So however you want to measure having more lean and greens than non-lean greens, just make sure the measurement is based off of what is realistic for you. Okay. Then for hydration, am I drinking water to start and end my day? Now you can see if you were to drink water in the beginning of the day with every single meal, assuming you have 3, and then at the end of the day, right? That's not even counting all the times you just get thirsty throughout the day. That's 5 times, right? That's 5 times. Now, if someone told you, okay, you have to have 100 ounces of water as a minimum, you're like, oh, okay. So those 5 times I drink water, I'll just have 20 ounces. It's so simple now because you already drink water. It's just a question of how much. That's what this foundation is for. Once you have the foundation, and then let's say you decide to follow a specific regime, right? Because you don't really have to if you don't want to. But if you decide, I want to follow a specific regime, when you get told this is how much you have to have for nutrition, hydration, and sleep, and this is what you have to do for training, it all comes down to how much. How much nutrition? How much hydration? How much sleep? But because you did all the prerequisites, it's easy. It's easy. And then when it comes to sleep, am I waking up refreshed? That's it. That's a clear indicator that you're getting enough sleep. And then for level 3 for posture, do I have proper movement posture, which is like when you're walking around, right? When you're like squatting down or reaching up for something, all that kind of stuff. Do you have proper movement posture? And once again, you're not going to know if you do not have a professional that you can talk to. When it comes to sleep, you're not going to be waking up refreshed if you are not sleeping when you're exhausted, right? When it comes to water, you're not going to be drinking water in the beginning of the day or at the end of the day if you don't even drink water when you're thirsty, right? And level 3 for nutrition, you're not going to be having more lean greens than non-lean greens if you're not even having fruits and vegetables, all right? You're not. You're not. All right. Now, some of you guys probably see the arrows down here. There's more to it. One last thing. The decision-making process. This is your lifestyle goal. Your lifestyle goal is how we will make decisions to move up the diagram, okay? It is the way we will solve any stumbling block that comes our way. Life will always throw curveballs. I spelled always weirdly. Always throw curve balls at us. The lifestyle goal is how we will solve any issues that come our way. The lifestyle goal is consistency and realism, which is just what is the next most realistic step. That's it. Whatever that answer is, that is what you will do because that is what will be consistent for you. Let's say you need 100 ounces of water minimum and you are struggling getting the minimum. Maybe what is realistic right now is 50. Start there, become consistent. And once consistent, reassess. Do not let your ego get in the way. If it is not 1,000,000% realistic, don't do it. Start with what's realistic. Build from there. It's not about where you start, it's about how you finish. Progression, not perfection. Okay, so that's how you do it. You have to know what health and fitness really means, and now you know how to move forward with your health and fitness. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want this diagram, I'll send it to you. You want the health tree diagram? I'll send it to you. You want to talk? Like, please. Because all I want to do for you guys is just give you guys the truth. All right. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a great weekend because I think today's Friday. So I hope you have a great weekend. I'll see you next time.